Norah O'Donnell was at the top of her game, balancing a high-powered career, raising a family, and managing the everyday chaos of life. But one ordinary afternoon in 2016, everything changed with a single phone call. While browsing through sheets and towels in a department store, her phone buzzed. It was her doctor. The words that followed hit hard: melanoma. Skin cancer wasn't something she thought much about. She felt healthy. She looked healthy. But hidden beneath the surface, something dangerous was growing. The news was serious. Surgery was needed immediately. Doctors removed a 3-inch piece of skin from her back. The cancer hadn't spread yet, but the experience left a mark far deeper than the scar it left behind. It was a wake-up call, a reminder that life can take unexpected turns in the blink of an eye. Since that day, Norah's life has never been the same. Regular checkups, constant biopsies, and the lingering fear of what if became part of her reality. But instead of letting fear take over, she turned her experience into something more, something powerful. And that's where her journey truly begins. Norah's journey with skin cancer started long before that phone call. Growing up in San Antonio, Texas, she spent a lot of time outside under the hot sun. Like most teenagers, she wanted to look tan. Back then, people didn't think much about sunscreen or the risks of too much sun. It was just part of life. Her parents, especially her dad, were always focused on health. He was a doctor, after all. But even with his medical background, skin cancer wasn't something they talked about often. When she was little, her family moved around a lot because of her dad's work in the military. They lived in South Korea for a couple of years, and even there, Norah found herself outdoors often, playing and exploring. She started her first job there, too, helping to record English lessons for Korean students. It was her first time speaking into a camera, something she'd eventually do for a living. After coming back to Texas, Norah went to Douglas MacArthur High School. She was a hard worker, always focused on her studies. She loved reading and asking questions, qualities that helped her later as a journalist. But like many teenagers, she didn't think much about long-term health. Tanning was popular, and she and her friends would spend hours outside, never worrying about what the sun might do to their skin. Years later, it wasn't until she went to college at Georgetown University that she started thinking more seriously about health and wellness. The fast pace of school and life in Washington, D.C., made it hard to keep up with everything, but she knew staying healthy was important. Years later, when she got her first job in journalism, the long hours and constant travel made it even tougher. She was often too busy to think about things like regular doctor's visits, and that's something she regrets now. After her melanoma diagnosis, everything changed. Suddenly, she was more aware of the little things, like wearing sunscreen every day and making sure her kids did too. The scar on her back became a daily reminder of how important regular checkups are. It wasn't just about looking good anymore, it was about staying alive. She realized that many people skip their checkups because they feel fine, just like she did. That's why she started speaking out about skin cancer prevention. Sharing her story wasn't easy, but if it helped even one person catch something early, it was worth it. She started encouraging people to get their skin checked regularly, wear sunscreen, and take their health seriously. Norah also learned that melanoma can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter if you have fair skin, dark skin, or if you only get a little sun exposure, cancer doesn't pick favorites. She often thinks about how lucky she was that her doctor caught it early. If she had waited, the story might have been very different. Over the years, Norah has become even more careful. She keeps sunscreen by the front door, in her car, and in her purse. Her kids know the rule: no pink faces, no sunburns. She wants them to learn from her mistakes and take care of their skin from a young age. And it's not just about skin cancer. She's become a big believer in preventive healthcare overall. During the COVID-19 pandemic, she saw how many people put off their regular doctor visits. Some were scared to go into a medical office, others just didn't have the time. Norah understands that. She's a busy mom and journalist, and even she struggled to keep up with all her own appointments. But she also knows that putting things off can lead to bigger problems down the road. Her experience has made her a more compassionate journalist. When she reports on health stories now, she sees them differently. She understands what it feels like to get scary news from a doctor, and how hard it can be to face it. She knows that taking care of yourself isn't always easy, but it's necessary. For Norah, the biggest lesson in all of this is simple: don't wait. Don't wait until something feels wrong to go to the doctor. Don't wait to start wearing sunscreen. Don't wait to take your health seriously. She hopes that by sharing her experience, more people will take action before it's too late. Even with all the awareness she's raised, Norah still faces her own fears. Every few months, when it's time for her skin check, she feels a little nervous. What if they find something new? What if this time it's worse? But she goes anyway because she knows that catching it early is the best chance she has. But before she became the face of skin cancer awareness, before the news broadcasts and awards, Norah was just a young woman with big dreams stepping into the world of journalism for the first time. After finishing high school in Texas, she packed her bag and headed to Washington, D.C., to attend Georgetown University. The fast-moving city was a whole new world filled with opportunities and challenges. She studied philosophy, asking big questions and learning to think deeply about the world around her. But journalism had always been in the back of her mind. She loved to tell stories, to ask questions, and to make sense of the world. Even while studying, Norah was eager to get real experience. She started working as a staff writer for Roll Call, covering Congress and getting a first-hand look at how politics worked. It was exciting and fast-paced, and she quickly learned that being a reporter meant more than just writing stories. It meant digging deeper, asking tough questions, and never settling for easy answers. After earning her degree in 1995, Norah didn't stop there. She went back to Georgetown and earned a master's degree in liberal studies in 2003. But her career was already taking off. She landed a role at NBC News, where she would spend the next 12 years growing, learning, and reporting on some of the biggest stories in the country. At NBC, Norah wore many hats. She worked as a White House correspondent, covering major events and traveling with presidents. She was a regular face on the Today Show and NBC Nightly News, keeping viewers informed about politics, policy, and the people behind the headlines. She even filled in as a host on Hardball with Chris Matthews, showing her ability to hold her own in tough political discussions. Balancing all the roles wasn't easy, but Norah thrived under pressure. Whether she was reporting from the White House lawn or sitting in a studio, she brought the same energy and dedication to every story. She believed that good journalism wasn't just about reporting facts, it was about making those facts meaningful to people's lives. In 2011, a new opportunity came knocking. CBS News saw Norah's talent and brought her on board as their chief White House correspondent. It was a big step, but Norah was ready. She covered major events, from political scandals to international conflicts, and her reporting stood out for being sharp, clear, and relatable. People trusted her, and that trust grew as she took on even bigger roles. By 2012, she became a co-anchor on CBS This Morning, joining a team that aimed to bring hard news with a fresh perspective. Mornings were busy, and the hours were long, but Norah loved being part of something that mattered. She interviewed world leaders, celebrities, and everyday people with important stories to tell. Through it all, she stayed focused on what mattered most, delivering the truth in a way people could understand. Her time at CBS This Morning was filled with unforgettable moments. She covered elections, natural disasters, and breaking news stories that shaped the world. But she also had personal challenges along the way. In 2019, during a spring break trip with her family, she felt a sharp pain in her side. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it was nothing serious. But after 5 days of pain, she finally went to the hospital and learned she had appendicitis. Even then, Norah stayed true to her journalist instincts. She shared her experience publicly, encouraging others to listen to their bodies and not ignore warning signs. In 2019, Norah reached another career milestone. She was named anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News. It was a historic moment, making her only the third woman to ever hold that position. The pressure was immense, but Norah approached it the way she always had, with hard work, determination, and a focus on getting the story right. Her years at CBS Evening News were filled with big interviews and major events. She covered the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2020 election, and the changing political landscape with a steady, reassuring voice. And in 2024, she made headlines once again when the conversation touched on deep and sometimes controversial topics, showing Norah's ability to ask tough questions with respect and thoughtfulness. But even with all her success, Norah knew that change was coming. In mid-2024, she announced that she would be stepping down from CBS Evening News after the presidential election. She wanted to take on a new role as a senior correspondent, focusing on in-depth reporting and special projects. It was a bittersweet moment, but she was ready for the next chapter. Her last broadcast was set for January 24, 2025, but with the coverage of the Farmers Insurance Open, the date was moved up by a day. Saying goodbye wasn't easy, but Norah knew she had left her mark on the industry. Her journey from a young girl in Texas to one of the most respected journalists in the country was something she never could have imagined. Through it all, Norah remained committed to telling stories that mattered. She believed that journalism had the power to change lives and make a difference in the world, and she carried that belief with her in every report, every interview, and every broadcast. And through it all, she had a strong support system behind her. Beyond the newsroom, beyond the lights and cameras, Norah's personal life played a huge role in shaping who she was. Through all the busy days and late nights, there was always one person by her side, her husband, Jeff Tracy. They met in college, standing in a cafeteria line at Georgetown University. It was Norah's first week on campus, and Jeff, noticing her, struck up a conversation using a sweatshirt his roommate was wearing as an icebreaker. That small moment turned into something much bigger. For Jeff, it was love at first sight. For Norah, it took a little longer, but soon enough, they became inseparable. After years of dating, they got married in 2001 at Georgetown's Dahlgren Chapel. For them, Washington, D.C., was part of their story. They built a life there, balancing Norah's rising career in journalism with Jeff's passion for food. After graduating from Georgetown, Jeff pursued his love of cooking at the Culinary Institute of America. By the time they got married, he had already opened his first restaurant, Chef Jeff's. More restaurants followed, each one a success. While Norah was reporting on politics and world events, Jeff was building a name for himself in the DC food scene. Their relationship thrived because they supported each other through it all. Norah often said that her mother gave her the best advice. Marry your best friend. And she did. Jeff made her laugh, kept her grounded, and understood the demands of her career. Whether it was long hours at the newsroom or stressful election cycles, he was always there, cheering her on. Life got even busier when they became parents. Their twins, Henry and Grace, were born first, followed by their youngest daughter, Riley. Raising 3 kids while managing demanding careers wasn't easy, but they made it work. Cooking became a big part of their family life. Norah and Jeff even wrote a cookbook together called Baby Love, Healthy, Delicious Meals for Your Baby and Toddler. They believed in making homemade meals for their kids, skipping store-bought baby food completely. Norah often talked about how she'd rush home from work, pick up fresh apples, steam them, and blend them into applesauce, simple, healthy, and made with love. Even with their busy schedules, they always found time for their kids. From soccer games to school events, Norah and Jeff made sure their children knew they were a priority. But balancing it all wasn't always smooth. During the COVID-19 pandemic, things got especially tough. Norah was covering one of the biggest health crises of her career, working long hours from home while also helping with remote school and everyday parenting duties. Conference calls often happened while she cooked breakfast, and sometimes her kids would interrupt important meetings with questions about the printer not working. It was chaotic, but they made it through as a team. Jeff stepped up in big ways during those challenging times. Whether it was making dinner after a long day or offering words of encouragement, he was always there. Norah often said, That having a supportive partner made all the difference in managing both her career and family life. As their children grew older, Norah shared special moments with her audience: prom nights, driving lessons, and the bittersweet feeling of watching them grow up too fast. Through it all, her family remained her biggest source of strength and happiness. Despite the demands of their careers, Norah and Jeff made sure to celebrate their milestones. Their wedding anniversaries were filled with love and reflection, often with Jeff posting sweet messages online, calling himself a lucky guy. Even as Norah faced challenges in her career, she knew she had a solid foundation at home. Jeff's unwavering support never changed when she went through her melanoma diagnosis and surgery. He was there every step of the way, and when she recovered from emergency appendicitis in 2019, he made sure she had everything she needed to rest and heal. While Norah was making history in journalism, Jeff continued to expand his restaurant business, turning it into a successful group with several locations across the DC area. They both thrived in their respective fields while always making time for each other and their family. As Norah's career continued to soar, she received numerous awards and recognitions. She was named one of Washington's 100 Most Powerful Women by Washingtonian magazine and earned several Emmy Awards for her investigative reporting. One of her proudest moments was her 6-month investigation into sexual assault at the Air Force Academy, which won an Emmy in 2018 and was recognized by the White House Correspondents Association. But for Norah, the biggest rewards came from the impact she had on people's lives. After sharing her skin cancer story, viewers reached out, telling her they had gone for screenings because of her. Some even discovered skin cancer early thanks to her advocacy. Those messages meant everything to her. Beyond journalism, Norah became a voice for health awareness, encouraging people, especially women, to prioritize their well-being. Whether it was skin cancer screenings or regular doctor visits, she wanted everyone to take their health seriously and never put it off. Norah believes in hope. Even after facing the fear of cancer, she saw hope in early detection and in the advances of modern medicine. She also found hope in community, knowing that by sharing her story, she could help others take better care of themselves. Now, as she prepares to step away from her role at CBS Evening News, Norah is looking forward to new opportunities. She's excited to spend more time with her family, take on special projects, and continue advocating for health awareness. She knows that life is unpredictable, but with the right people by your side, anything is possible. Through every challenge and success, Norah has learned that family, health, and passion are what truly matter. And while her career in the anchor chair may be coming to an end, her influence and impact will last for years to come.